Right, so hi guys, good morning or good day, no? Kung sa what time yung man ginatan-aw nga recording, no? And today we are going to discuss the VAT payable. So we are done with the output VAT, no? Then we are also done with the input VAT. So now we are going to the next, no, VAT model, the contents ng VAT model, which is the VAT payable, right? So when we say of VAT payable, no, muna siyang output less input, no, less the tax credits, all the tax credits, then that will be your VAT payable or VAT due for the certain month, no. Okay, so how to determine? Amo na gani output, no. Yes, less input, okay, then less tax credits, then tax still due, right? So, what are those tax credits, no? Ano-ano ng mga tax credits? What are those valid tax credits or payments that you have paid or you have purchased or expense, no? That can be used as part of that tax credit or tax payments. Okay, so first will be the VAT paid in the previous payments, no, for quarterly VAT returns. Just to highlight this, for no, ang number one, okay, you can only use this if you are filing of your quarterly VAT returns. Kasi 'di ba, ambag ko last time, no? When we are filing VAT, may ara kita monthly, no? Then may ara kita sang quarterly VAT returns, right? So sa monthly, for example, in a quarter, January, February, and March, no? We are filing January and February na period for on a form 2550M, no, which will be the monthly VAT, and we are filing, no, pag-abot sa bulan sang Marso, mag-end ang bulan sang March, in which it is also the end of the quarter, no, we are filing for a quarterly VAT returns, and whatever you have paid for those first and second quarter, no, it should be deducted on the quarterly VAT. Kasi when we compute for the quarterly VAT returns, gina-add naton tanan nga sales, no? I mean, gina-add naton tanan nga sales, gina-add naton tanan nga output, no? Gina-add naton tanan nga input or the purchases or the expenses. Then we are going to deduct atong first two months nga ginbayad naton. So in a general sense, no, ang quarterly VAT, it's just like the third month, no, nga payment. Kaso we need to accumulate that kasi ang tax credit should only be used, no, in a quarterly VAT returns. All right, so VAT paid in return previously filed in the case of amended return, kung may gin-amend ikaw, no, nga kulang or sobra, it also should be reflected, no, sa aton nga filing. Next, advance payments made to the BIR. So we are going to discuss later on what is that advance payments, no. Next, final withholding VAT on the sales to government. If you can remember, the 5% withholding VAT if you are transacting no, sa government or mayroon kay ikaw sang government sales. Then advanced VAT on certain goods, no. Okay, discuss na later. So next, VAT payments in the monthly returns. So this tax credit applies to the quarterly VAT returns, no. This is not applicable to the monthly VAT return kay muna gani gina-file ta siya on a quarterly VAT, no, sa quarterly VAT. Next, final withholding VAT, right? So the final withholding VAT is the 5%, itong gin-discuss ta last time, withheld by the government, GOCCs, no? And remember that the VAT payable on sales to government in GOCCs should be zero. Okay? Kaya ang gin-withhold nila nga 5%, no, ang given nga ang 7% nga to will be your input VAT, okay, will be the ano ganito ang term ng ligad, no, ang 7% nga to, the 12% nga VAT less ang 7 nga standard na input VAT, okay, the 5% nga gin-hold should be the parang VAT payments muna. Okay, next, advanced VAT, no, advanced VAT, no? The owners of sellers of the following goods are required to pay in advance. Tatlo mo na sila. The refined sugar, no, flour, and naturally grown and planted timber products. Okay? So ano ni siyang advanced VAT? Okay? So the BIR is parang requiring these three goods, no? Owner of these goods or producing of these goods nga mag-pay sang advance VAT before their withdrawals at the point of production. So before pa siya mahuman or before pa siya ma-harvest, you are required by the BIR to pay for that advanced VAT. No? So technically, advanced VAT is not an input VAT, no, and not included as part of the allowable input VAT, but part siya sang ginatawag nga tax credit. No? It is an advance payment which a deduction after the net VAT payable is determined. However, unutilized advance VAT in the period can be allocated on the next filing sa aton nga VAT or input VAT carry over if opted by the taxpayer. Okay? So, amo na siya ang advance VAT. So, what are those advance VAT on the sale of sugar? Okay, so what are those advanced VAT on the sale of sugar? Okay, so let's define first what is sugar. No, of course, when we say of sugar, sa taxation, no, it refers to sugar other than raw cane sugar, ng mga wala pa ma-process na sugar or ng mga molasses, no, or those with sugar content or sucrose by weight. Okay, in the dry state corresponds to the polarimeter reading of 99.5 and above, and whose color is 800 ICU or less. So I have no idea, no, sang muna, but ang ginamin lang din ng sugar is inang processed and refined sugar. Alright? So sugar includes cane sugar produced from refining processes, sugar refinery, no, a production of line of sugar mill accredited by the BIR to the producing or capable producing sugar with polarimeter reading na. Okay? So ano pa? So before any warehouse receipts or kidans is their term, no, sa mga ano gaya na siya, sa mga parang nang dagko bala mga sa sugar nga industry, no, or before the sugar is withdrawn from the sugar mill, no. So the advance VAT shall be paid by the owner or seller to the BIR through an authorized agent bank or revenue collection. So before siya i-withdraw dira, so before siya parang i-sell, no, you are required to pay an advance VAT for that sugar. So sugar owners refers to a person who has legal title over the sugar and may include sugar planters, traders, millers, cooperatives, and associations. Okay, so the base price, just take note of this, the base price of advance VAT, no, sang sugar is 1,400 pesos per 50 kilogram bag. Okay, so if there are any updates, no, sa aton train law or sa create law, mas may updates. So let's see, no, what will be the parang treatment on this. Okay? So next, advance VAT on the sale of flour by millers, Harina. Okay, ang Harina. So flour miller is a person who is engaged in the milling of imported wheat to produce flour as finished product. Okay, so where such wheat may be directly imported or purchased from the importer or trader. So wheat trader is a person who is engaged in importing, buying, or selling of imported wheat. To ano lang na, definition of terms. Okay, so what will be the advance VAT, no, sa dira? So the advance VAT on the future sale, take note of that, future sale, ginatawag siyang advanced VAT because it is not yet sold, but we are required, no, to pay in advance. Of flour milled from imported wheat shall be paid prior to the release from the customs duty, custody of wheat, no, which is imported and declared for milling. So purchase of wheat by flour millers from traders. So the purchase of imported wheat from traders or flour millers shall also be subjected to advance VAT, no, and shall be paid by the flour miller, ang nagagaling sang flour, before the delivery to the wheat by the trader. So the importation of wheat by any trader shall be exempt from the payment of advance VAT regardless of its intended use. So it must be noted that the importation of wheat is not object of taxation. Kay ano sila, di ba? Agricultural produce. Take note of some exemption kasi ang wheat is a raw materials na wala pa ka-undergo process, di ba? Sa aton nga topic about exempt goods, part sila sa mga agricultural produce which does not undergo simple processes, no? And part sila sa tong mga exempted nga goods. Importation of wheat, which is an agricultural food, no, in its original state, is exempt from VAT. So the purpose of advance VAT is to get an advance tax collection from VAT on the future sale of the flour by millers. The importation of agricultural or marine food products normally does not require an authority to release imported goods, no, from the BIR for its release from the customs duties. Okay. In view of the advanced VAT, however, importers of wheat, whether miller or trader, shall secure a trig from BIR regardless of its intended use of the imported wheat. Okay, just remember that policy, no. Although hindi naman ganun ka I mean, sa practice, no, it's very parang rare, no? Kasi if you have clients nga wala man engage yan eh. So parang wala man na siya gina-practice, right? But no, in case nga mag-work ka mo later on sa mga mini, at least you have knowledge on what to do, right? Next, basis for the advanced VAT. Na ano ang basis niya, anong tax base niya? For wheat imported by millers, okay? 70% of the sum of, number 1, invoice value multiplied by the current exchange rate, because mostly, no, kapag imported is naka foreign nga money. All right? So we need to parang i-value that on its current, no, currency exchange rate, okay, on the date of payment. Next, estimated customs duties, okay, and other charges before the release, and 5% of the sum of. Okay? So for wheat purchased by flour, 5% of the sum of ining duha. All right? Next. Kumaga, pag total mo silang duha, may add ka pa nga 5%, then i-add mo sila nga tatlo, 75% of that will be the cost of that advanced VAT. So for wheat purchased by flour millers from wheat traders, no, the 75% of the sum of invoice value, estimated freight, and 5% of the sum of A and B. So ining letter C, basi ma-confuse ka mo, you have to add, no, 5% of the A and B, okay, before you compute for that 75%, no, na advance VAT. Next. Ito, there's no need to to memorize everything ng mga numbers and amounts. You just have to know the basics of it, okay? So advanced VAT on the transport of naturally grown and planted timber products. So the VAT on the transport of naturally grown and planted timber products, when you say timber products, inang for hindi siya inang mga fruit bearing trees, but inang mga nagamit for furnitures, no? Nagamit for houses, okay? For purposes of consummating a sale, shall be paid in advance by the owner, the seller, to BIR. Okay? Now, ano ang basis niya? Okay? The basis of advance VAT is, number 1, the 12% advance VAT shall be based on the per cubic meter of each species of naturally grown timber as follows. Okay, so inang kahoy, dili sari-sari na ilang mga parang species, no? So, okay, so I'll just read it, no? And take note nga sari-sari ang value niya per region. So Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao the price. So first will be the Philippine Mahogany Group, mga mahogany, Mangga Sinoro Group, Mangga Kapuwi Group, Narig, Palusapis Group, Gihu Group ng mga kahoy. No, sa Luzon, it's 1.4 per cubic meter. Visayas is 1.4 per cubic meter. Mindanao, 1.425 per cubic meter. So how they will measure it, I think, no, before during the track, no, sa tracking, kasi for sure before na siya mag-release or magkuan sila, gaagi na sa mga DENR, right? May mga permit na sila sa DENR before cutting trees, right? So I think dito pa lang parang may value na sila, no, on how much, no, ang parang weight of their loads. Next, sa Yakal Group, ano siya, 1.5, and 1.5 for Luzon and Visayas, 1.530 for Mindanao. Apitong Group, we are the same, no, 1.260 for the Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. The same with softwood species, except igem, no. Actually, I'm not that familiar with the different species ng kahoy. Okay, so igem, 1.275 lahat. Nato, 1,000 lahat. Furniture, construction hardwood, okay. Premium species allowed, cut, okay, 3,000 per cubic meter. lesser used, right? Pulpwood, chipwood, and matchwood species. Yung mga panggamit pang sang matches or mga posporo, no? So the owner, concessionaire, seller of the naturally grown or private timber products shall not allow any transport of said timber products from the cutting area without the advance payment of VAT. Okay. So before i-tracking, no? Before cutting the trees, they need to secure a permit from the DENR, no? You cannot cut trees if you have no permit from the DENR. And because there are certain species ng kahoy nga wala ginapakat, nga bawal i-cut, because base parang rare siya or inang ang mga endangered species na nga mga kahoy, no? And before or the moment nga maka-create ka na or maka-get ka na permit from the DENR and naka-cut ka na, hindi ka gali maka-tracking or maka-travel, no, sang imo nga inang mga ginpangutod nga kahoy kung sa din mo man na sa dalon kung wala ka pa kabayad sang advance payment sa VAT, no, sa BIR. So muna siya for the advance VAT, tatlo man lang: sugar, flour, and the timber products. So let's go back, no, sa requirements. So what will be the deadlines, no? It's very important, the deadlines of the VAT. Okay, please take note na ang form na ginagamit is 2550M for monthly and 2550Q for the quarterly. So the tax still payable in the VAT return shall be paid to the government or to the BIR as follows. No? So first month, 20 days from the end of the month. Second month, also 20 days from the end of the month. And for the quarter, no, third month of the quarter within 25 days from the end of the quarter. Please take note, no? For example, sa January, no, for the month of January, for the period of January, you can pay that the VAT, no, from February 1 up to February 20. Okay, so it doesn't mean nga ang deadline niya is 20, is mabayad ka na on the 20th day, no? You can file as early as kung matapos ka na record, tapos ka na account, no, accounting on that, you can file up mga February 10 or February 15 so that in times kung may mga problem o may kinanglan, ikaw i-amend, you have time to amend. Hindi ka mag-pay on the 20th day also. Kasi another problem pa kita kay kung on the 20th day damo man pila sa bangko or you damo pila sa BIR, edi ikaw mo Japon nang mabudlayan, right? So this deadline is only given para up to when, no, can you pay without incurring penalties and surcharges. So dapat you have to pay before that certain date para may allowance ka, right? Overpayment. What is overpayment? The resultant overpayment or negative VAT return shall be treated as input carryover sa sunod na bulan naman. Right? Compliance requirements. How can we properly account sa aton nga mga VAT returns? Number 1, dapat may resibo. Alright? Accounting requirement, filing of VAT, filing of quarterly summary list, government withholding. Okay? So, isaunta na sila. Sa invoicing requirements, a VAT registered person shall issue of course, an invoice or resibo. Alright? Invoice kung goods, official receipt for list of goods or services. Right? So all persons subject excuse me, to internal revenue tax shall issue duly registered receipt prepared at least in duplicate for each sale of transfer of merchandise for services rendered at 100 pesos or more. What does it mean? Ine. All right. We need to issue kuno resibo, no? Hambalya de kung ang value niya is 100 pesos or more. How about in ang mga small items? All right? So the BIR, for example sa mga restaurant, di ba? There are times nga mga restaurants pila man lang ang nila mga 20 pesos, 30 pesos, 50 pesos. So pwede ka man nga for example i-total mo ang 5 ka orders sang customers before issuing an invoice, or dapat kumangayo sila, no? Kasi the moment that they have to request for an official receipt, you have to give them, no? Pero in times nga parang small items malang wala na sa nag-require, you can just add it, no? Add tanan, parang lista-lista mo until such time nga makabuo ka 100 pesos, then you can have you will issue a receipt, no? Unless mangayo man sila ya. Alright? Pero kapag ang amount is more than 100 pesos, you need to issue gidya. Pero kung na mga small items and wala man sila nag-require or nagpangayo, you can list down. Then once ka makaabot ka na sa 100 pesos or more, issue ka dayon resibo. Right? It's very important, no? In claiming an output and input VAT, the resibo, the invoice, okay, or the official receipt. That's why sa akong mga clients, no, gina-inform ko gid sila nga it is very important that you need to issue a receipt, especially if you are already a VAT taxpayer, no? Kasi sa VAT taxpayer it's very difficult, no? Kasi may mga tracing ina si government sang inyong mga sales and purchases. Ginabangga nila na, ano, ginatali nila na using their relief nga program or relief nga tawag ito, relief na application, no, which is required inang sa address sa filing of quarterly summary list, which is required, no, to file a quarterly of that, right? So accounting requirements, a person subject to VAT shall maintain accounting records. Yes, hindi lang sa VAT, pati percentage taxpayer ka, you need to have a books, subsidiary sales, subsidiary purchase. Okay? The daily transaction with business are recorded on the subsidiary records. It's very easy, no, sa inyong mga students. Next, filing of VAT returns. Who are required to file? No, syempre tanan ng VAT registered entities should be required to file the VAT returns. Okay, so any person or entity in the course of trade or business, okay, if the aggregate amount of actual gross receipts exceed 3 million, a person required to register but failed to register. So meaning gali, kung umabot ka na ng 3 million, naglapaw ka ng 3 million and wala ka pa nagpa-register as a VAT taxpayer, you will be considered as a VAT taxpayer. Mga tawag sa mo VAT registrable person, no? And taxan kayo ni BIR 12%. So the moment na balaan mo or manag-abot ka na sa 3 million, hindi na pagpaabutada, no? Register ka na nga daan sa VAT. Kung nakita mo nga mga March pa lang, may the gross ka na 2.5 million, so try to register na for the VAT, okay? Para hindi ka na magka-problem later on. And the person who imports goods, okay? So, alam niyo naman na. So where to file, din ka mabayad. Usually sa mga cities like dire sa Roa City, sa bank gabayad, no? But mostly sa bank. Pero kung sa mga banwa, may mga collecting agents na sila nga kakadto sa mga provinces to collect tax. Okay? Mga revenue collection officer and newly authorized treasurer, right? Pero ang usually nga ginabayaran is ang authorized bank and the revenue collection officer. Okay, so amo na siya. Amo na siya ang for the VAT requirements. So try to search for that 2550M and 2550Q, no? I'll try to have a video on it on how to file and ano ang proper way in filing, although hindi naman ako ganun ka perfect, no, in filing that, but you need to know how to file. Okay, kasi may mga programs sa subong si BIR like the EBIR forms, electronic na siya nga form, no, na ginagamit namon sa practice nga mas mahupos mag-file. Unlike before nga handwritten, which is very difficult kasi mano-mano pa kami nga-compute, isa-isa pa kami nga-compute. But because of these EBIR forms, it is automatically computed by the program ni BIR, which is a very good improvement sa aton nga tax system. Kasi because of that EBIR forms, nagkaroon ng ease of filing. Maski ikaw nga hindi ka balo mag-compute, as long that you have the knowledge, the basic knowledge of what you are, no, VAT kabla or percentage tax, you can file easily, right? Mayara pagid nga mga EFPS naman is automatic debit system or credit system nga gina-employ ni BIR, especially sa mga big companies nga hindi ka na mag-create forms or dara ka na mismo mag-create forms and dara ka naman ma-pay. Alright? Mayara pagid do something mina ang mga parang tawag dito, mga advancement sang aton nga tax system sa Philippines. Ang ginamin ko kagi ng nga parang listing, summary listing, yung tawag nila nga relief. Ay nalipat ko sang meaning niya, no? So try to search that. Relief, yeah. Reconciliation of listing, something nalipat ako. But it is ang common function niya is to have a listing. Ako ang VAT taxpayer, for example, ibutang ko I will put all my sales transactions there in a quarter. The same with I will put all my purchases, no, and expenses nga vatable on that certain quarter. Then, for example, ang mga VAT taxpayers, mga supplier ko, they are filing also, di ba? So, pwede nila mabalanse atong sa akon nga suppliers in sa akon nga mga transactions, no? It's very good it's very good it's very good parang program nga nakakaroon sa parang balancing, no, within the VAT taxpayers. Kasi para mas stricto man ang mga VAT taxpayers to pay for their proper taxes. Right? So that will be all for this lecture. Thank you and God bless us all. And keep safe, everyone.